bubble pop out of her mouth saying something. We'll figure that out. Oh, dang it. We'll get you an apple. Just you. So I'll just piggyback on some of the confidence things. Like I feel like it's an overlooked thing is having knowledge on site. Like all of us right now in our pocket have pretty much all the knowledge you would ever need. I mean, right? I mean, for the most part, it's right. ChatGPT, Google with Gemini, like whatever, Grok. You can literally get an answer to anything almost instantly. But if someone walked in and you're like, oh, let me ask ChatGPT real quick. What do you think happens between you and that person? Lack of trust. They're like, dude, this guy just had to ask ChatGPT, like, how many square feet this house is? What the heck? What else?
Like, I could do that.
Yeah, they immediately think I could do that, right? And this is like, go back to an open house. You know, if you prep for an open house the right way, I feel like we don't really think about this enough. But when you know everything that's going on in the market around there, and you just did that by like cramming for a test, right? You spend 30 minutes just studying everything about the house you're going to hold open and all the active comps, and think about all the objections I'm going to get, like, oh, this one's too small, here's a bigger one. Oh, this one's too expensive, here's a cheaper one. And you start to figure all that out, and then someone walks in, and I'm like, hi, Ty, how's it going? And you're like, oh, man, I'm really looking for something bigger. I'm like, have you seen 123 Main Street? Versus, let me see if I can find something bigger, and she's going to be like, no, that's okay, I'm good. Those are two different outcomes. Would you guys agree? Yes. So one of them requires a lot of preparation. It's just like the conversation with the lender, right? If I don't know the answer because I just don't know. I haven't met with the lender enough. I don't understand what their job is or whatever. And someone says something to me and I'm like, I don't know. Let me ask my lender. And they're like, no, it's not that big a deal. Versus being like, actually, how do you get paid? So like, I don't think I qualify. I don't think I make enough. Well, what do you make? Right? Like, for fun.
I was going to say, does everybody know how to work up?
This is, yeah, here. I'm going to, do you mind moving this? I'm going to have her move that. I've worked up debt to income ratios for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients. And it is a massive, massive way to instantly gain trust. And it's not that complicated, guys. So, Carrie, why don't you be my guinea pig? You're just going to be my buyer. Okay, so we'll kind of role play a little bit. So Carrie, you know, I understand you don't think you qualify for a home loan. Why don't you think that?
I don't make enough.
Oh.
I've got a ton of debt.
Got a ton of debt, okay. Well, if you could qualify, would you buy today? So you would, okay. Well, why don't we just run some numbers real quick. Where do you work at?
Micron.
Work at Micron, okay, cool. And how long have you worked at Micron?
I've been there like 4 years.
I'm asking that because I want to know if there's a history, right? Like if she's like, oh, I've been there for a week. I'm like, ooh, that might be something sensitive with the lender. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't need to know that. I just need to understand what's going on. Okay, you've been there 4 years. And do you get paid by the hour or salary?
I just moved to salary.
Okay, let's do hourly for fun.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because this one's a little more complicated, but it's not that much more complicated. Who's going to be my calculator person that's fast and good with a calculator?
Matt's gone.
Matt's gone. T. Okay, T's my calculator person. So you get paid hourly. How many hours do you work a week?
Usually 40.
Okay, let's just say 40.
Okay.
Let's make it simple.
No.
No. I work 40 a week. I work 40 a week. Okay, so you work 40 a week. So you work 40 hours a week, and what do you get paid per hour?
I make $32 an hour.
Okay, so 40 at 32. So what's the math?
$12.80.
So $12.80 per week.
Who knows how to, what is that? Know how to calculate that?
No. I think it's supposed to be
Multiply the two together.
So $40 an hour.
$40 or 40 hours a week.
Or 40 hours a week at $32 an hour. Make sense? $40, 40 hours a week, $32 an hour. That's $12.80. Now, why do I want it by the week? Because she might be like, well, I make like $4,000 a month. That's real life. That's what you really get. She's like, I make about $4,000 a month. Which, by the way, like, do this times 4 real quick, or do this times 12, actually. Sorry, times 52.
Times 52 divided by 12.
let me do this first, then we can go your way. Then we can go the nerd lender way. So,
It's a really easy way.
so
52 is 66,516.
what, say that again?
66,516.
One person, please.
66,560.
6,6,560. Now divide that by 12.
5,546.
5,546. Okay. So super fast. What I don't want you guys to end up with, because some people do this. They're like, well, I do this. 1280 times 4 is like whatever, 5 grand. 5 grand times 12 months is 60 grand. You're missing the 66,000, right? Another way, which I'm sure she's probably going to suggest, is full time is 2,080 hours a year. So you could take this times 2,080, then divide it by 12. But all we want is a monthly income.
You end up with the same number, right?
I want a monthly income. I need a monthly income, and I need it to be gross. Do you guys know the difference? This is another thing. I'm sorry to go like kind of, this isn't, I don't think this is elementary. You have to understand this shit. Gross means all the money they get paid. Okay, net means what? All the money they get to keep. Okay, net is what you keep in your net. Gross is everything goes in the net, you pull the net out, and some of it falls out to the government, right? And some other crap. So this is gross monthly income. Now take this number times by 0.45. 2,496. So all of the debt plus the new mortgage can equal this, okay? 45% of your gross income. Now they fluctuate. I mean,
It fluctuates, yeah. It depends on the client.
they can go up to like, I mean, shit.
FHA, we can go up to 50.
You were telling me like 60% the other day, but 45 is like a good rule of thumb. So now I figure out her debts, and I'm just going to rapid fire and say you had a $500 car payment, and that's it, okay? I want to know other debts too, like not what their cell phone bill is every month.
What's on credit?
Yeah, credit, stuff you're borrowing that you're not paying off.
Minimum payments.
Yes, minimum payment. So if you have a $500 credit card payment you make, but the minimum's 50, 50 is what counts against you, not what you pay. Does that make sense? So if I owe 10 grand on my credit card, I pay 500 a month, but my minimum's 50, 50 is what we count against this number. So if we subtract 500 from that number, we get 1996. So that can be their monthly mortgage, which I have no idea what that is, probably like 300. Okay, I don't know the number. Something like that. But, is it just you or does your husband work too? She says her husband, now we're going through that, right? So this is a way that you can easily help them understand their debt to income ratio. So questions on that? I literally have a 10-minute video that walks you through it. You can watch 50 freaking times to understand this. But I wanted to show you in just a few minutes how simple it can be. And I'll just do it with them.
Well, and the crucial piece also is that they work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Correct.
If they say most of the time.
Okay.
Well, here's the deal. If they say most of the time, I'm like, okay, well, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to do the same thing. And then a most of the time answer, that's a lender question. I'm not going to be able to answer that question. And honestly, she's not going to be able to answer it either. It's her underwriter. Underwriter's going to have to look at, well, she'll be able to give you an idea, but her underwriter's going to have to look at it. She's like, because sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes you're like, well, I'll have to see what my underwriter says.
Yeah, this kind of stuff, like it's hourly and that I work all that up before underwriting. If it's something where we're not sure if an underwriter will count it,
That's my point.
that's
Yeah, so that'd be like, I work 50 hours a week. So do you get overtime? I'm asking that. Now they say, yeah, I get overtime. I'm like, how long have you gotten overtime for? This is just questions I want to know. If they've been getting it for years, you can probably use it. If it's seasonal, I need to know what the lender and the underwriter say. Can they use it? Do they think it's something like if they...
Yeah, as long as they have a 2-year history of having overtime, bonus, that kind of stuff.
But if it's inconsistent, so every summer they get 20 hours of overtime.
It's the same job, same,
Okay.
yeah.
There you go. So here's my thing though. My answer, everything I'm doing is going to be to push them to meet with the lender. Anytime I get stuck, I'm going to be like, that's a great question. The lender will be able to answer that. Let's keep going though. So I'm just jotting these things down. Here's some other things, like if they say their credit's bad. So say your credit's bad.
My credit sucks.
Oh, what's your credit?
I'm like a 590.
How do you know that?
It just tells me when I log into my
Okay,
my old Navy app.
got it. Fair enough. So when you log into your old Navy app, it says a 590. Let me ask you this. Have you been late on any payments in the last 12 months?
No.
That to me is a green light to get them with a lender. If they say yes, I'll say, what was it?
I missed my old Navy credit card.
You missed your old Navy? How long ago was that?
Like 4 months ago.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know what they'll say, but I think it's worth talking to them. Like that's the answer. But all I'm doing is showing them some confidence. And by the way, if they've been late on payments in the last 12 months, like it's a red flag. It's not impossible to qualify. It's less likely. But you want to find out what these things are. Sometimes they might have had like a judgment or something 5 years ago, and it screwed their credit up, and they haven't done anything with it. Yeah.
Do you ever mention to them that the mortgage lender pulls like a track credit report, and they're only seeing one score?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, that's true. So the way they do it, there's 3 credit bureaus they pull from, and they throw out the high number and throw out the low number, and they use the middle. That's how they actually come up with it. So hypothetically, someone could be a 590 and they're seeing just one, because like Old Navy might have a program where they're partnered with Experian, and they share that number. But the other 2 credit bureaus, they don't share. So this is getting kind of like extra nerdy. I don't think you need to do that, but it is true. It is true.
I have found that it encourages people to talk to the lender, because I'm just like, you're only seeing one score, and you're qualified off of 3. They're going to look at 3 scores to decide, how to qualify you.
Well,
So, and I want to ask more questions though too, because if they're like, yeah, my one score's 450, you're like,
Well, if they say that, I'm like,
well, then I'm going to ask, like, have you been late on any payments in the last 12 months? And they say no, then I'm going to say,
Remember, we have a credit simulator that if they're a 590, like sometimes it's like, hey, pay down this debt by $500 and it'll pop you up to the 620 we need. We can do a simulator to tell them that versus them going and like randomly doing something.
right.
okay. Confidence is key though, guys, and you get confidence by, putting time on task. So for fun, you should like see if your closest friends will let you run their DTIs. Like go practice it, go do it a dozen times. And then it'll be super simple when you get to going in front of a client. All right, so I think we're going to be going over this a little bit in the leadership advance tomorrow during our mastermind, but I thought I'd bring a little bit of it here as well. And I want you guys are going to choose your own adventure here. So this is 10 things that winners do that losers won't. And so I'm going to read them here, and you guys are going to pick. Do we have all of them on there?
Yep.
So I can just fast forward. So you guys are going to pick which one we spend. We have time for maybe one, probably just one, maybe 2. So I'm going to read them, and then you guys tell me which one you want to talk about today. So this is what winners do that losers won't. The effort equalizer, making failure statistically unreasonable. Meaning what you do is so unlikely that if you do it, you could fail. Like the failure rate goes down to almost nothing. The proof stack, they earn confidence through repetition. The invisible work, they execute without needing credit. The obsession advantage, winning through focused seasons. The doubt as fuel, converting criticism into momentum. The one more principle, compounding slight advantages. The intentional suffering, choosing pain that moves you forward. The invisible scorecard, tracking every decision. Key point, honestly. The boring battleground, loving the mundane work, and the work before the reward. Doing before feeling. Which one do you guys want to dive into today?
Number 1.
Be selfish. Number 1? Well, that's easy. It's the first one.
I agree.
Okay, well, we're going to go into number 1. All right, so the effort equalizer. Success has nothing to do with fairness. Of course, some people start with unfair advantages like the right network, abundant capital, or perfect timing. For everyone else, we win by making failure statistically unreasonable. Meaning the reps are the fairness. If you made 100 outbound calls to qualified prospects, would 0 appointments be reasonable? If you called, think about that, you called 100 people today who are qualified.
That would not be reasonable.
Is it reasonable to expect 0 appointments?
No.
No. So do you understand what we're saying? We're making it unreasonable to fail. If you knocked on 50 doors, would 0 conversations make sense? I mean, that'd be a lot of bad luck. You should buy a Powerball if you knock on 50 doors and no one answers the door. You don't need lady luck in your corner every day. You need enough clean repetitions that the odds become so stacked in your favor that failure requires a statistical miracle. Okay, this is where I want to soak in here. What's going through your head when you hear that? Relate it to you. If you're going to share, you need to relate it to you. What's going through your head when you see this related to you? Yes?
Skills.
Say that again.
Skills.
What about it?
Making a lot of calls and not getting a lot of appointments.
So,
So I need to work on my skills.
like you're making 100 outbound calls and not getting 1 appointment?
Sometimes well, it depends on the day, but sometimes I make 40 calls and I do all of my goals and I'm done for the day and I talk to a lot of people, but I'm never making an appointment. Some days I make 100 or 200 and something calls and I barely get anybody even answering the phone.
Here's where I want you to
But I
be.
need to work on what I'm saying to people when they do.
This right here would suggest you actually don't.
I don't.
You don't need to work on your skills. Now, of course, everyone needs to work on their skills. Let me be clear. The whole idea behind this effort equalizer is that I'm going to do so much work that it doesn't matter. I could be the worst person on the planet. I'm still going to succeed. Now think about it for you.
I'm just laughing because if you listen to some of my calls last week, you may feel a little different.
Teresa, I have heard a lot of people, and I can promise you, you're not the worst on the planet, guaranteed. But what I'm saying though is like it doesn't matter if you were. With this mindset, it's like, okay, well then I'm going to do 400 because I'm not willing to fail. I'm going to stack this in my deck so favorably, there's no way I could fail. Does that make sense? Now, of course, skill is huge, and you guys got to work on skill. It's going to make your life a lot easier, but what I want you to understand, though, is like, what are things you could do? So what comes to mind? Someone else. What comes to mind on something you could do in your business that would be taking advantage of this principle? Give me an example.
Like if my goal is 15 connects a day, like bump it to 20 or 200 dials, like bump it up. Because, like the odds are you'll get something no matter what if you're upping activity.
Got it.
I'll also say, just off of what you were saying, Teresa, and I found myself in this position, we've talked about it, like if I'm hitting the goals and I'm still not seeing what I want, then I have to change the goals. So I went from like, only focusing on dials to like, I'm not leaving here till I get an appointment. So just making that, challenging yourself to push past like what you think you should be doing.
Yeah, it's funny. I just had a coaching call today with someone who you guys have seen all these numbers, but I'll put them up here because I think it's pretty important that we understand this. So attempts lead to what? And then connects lead to set, which leads to met. Okay, whoops. Whew, okay. There's a lot of stuff in the way here. Okay, so this is the conversation we had today, which is like, okay, this person was, their goal was 1 per week. And I'm like, okay, where are you at year to date? And they're like, well, I'm not there. And of course, by the way, they hem and haw. Like a great coach will go where you think they won't go, right? Because people will hide where they think the coach won't go. And so this person, they're like, yeah, my goal is one a week. And I'm like, so how's that going? And they're like, well, I got one last week. I'm like, okay. How's it going so far this year? Like, are you getting that every week? No, not even close. It's like, okay, cool. So we went to They were hiding behind the one they just got, which is great. Awesome, they got one. And these two numbers are never going to be the same. We're very rarely going to be the same. On a large enough swath of data, we're never going to have them be the same, right? Because you're going to set appointments with people that don't meet. They get sick or something happens, right? So you're constantly, like if this number is the highest, then every time you go that way, it goes down. Now, I asked her this question. I said, what do you have control of on this? You definitely have control of this.
A little bit connect.
Okay.
You can put your indicators who you're talking to.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Many people pick up the phone, so I would say the heaviest thing would be on the attempts.
Yeah, I mean, the most absolute control you have is on attempts. But would you say that you have more control on connects than you do appointment set?
Yes.
I feel like I have more control on appointment set.
Yeah, once you get the connects,
Yes.
you can have the control
Yes.
of the set.
Okay.
That is
You lose control as you go this way.
right.
So you definitely don't have as much control over set appointments as you do connects, right? Unless you're setting an appointment every single time, and then even then it's just equal.
And they might not meet with you. I didn't say that.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, no, but if you're getting an appointment on every time you speak with someone, then they're equal. But the likelihood is no. You probably have less control over this than you do this, even if you're amazing. And it just goes less and less and less control. So she's not winning here. So what should we do? Should we go this way or that way?
More than
Yeah, we got to go this way. We got to go this way. So we went from here and we focused on this. This is not a new agent at all. And I would say the more experienced you are, the further to the right you should probably commit to. And when we talk about that, we're talking about like the gamification piece, right? So what's the pain if you don't do this? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're going to be broke, but that pain's too slow to notice. So you need some right now pain. And you know, you don't need to answer it. Like everyone has their own pain. You guys can figure that out, right? Like you can bail on coffee, or you don't get your nails done, or you don't, you know, whatever. Like you were going to go do, this person liked to ride bikes. So I'm like, cool, instead of riding bikes, which you do twice a week for 2 hours, if you're not on track, then you have to make calls for that 2 hours. And how many times do you think you're going to miss your bike ride?
Maybe just once.
Yeah, probably not very many. So what I want you guys to take away here is there is no amount of skill required on a big enough swath of data, right? Like we have some arm wrestling with one of the builders we're working with right now. And they're like, well, you know, we just don't know if your on-site salespeople have enough new construction experience. Now, by the way, like we're pulling data and they're 10% overpriced. And they're like, we don't want to reduce price until we know more about the sales staff. And this happened with the storage units we had in Twin Falls too, by the way. And I told that guy the same thing I'm telling this guy. I could be the worst salesperson on the planet. If your stuff is priced right, someone would have bought it. Period. So you can blame everything but the price all you want. You know, you can fire me right now, but the next guy, if they don't tell you to lower the price, you're hiring the wrong person. So flip this in reverse, like think about your business. You know, what would have to change? And when we simplify the business, guys, and I go back to this all the time because I think it's critical for you. The business is very, 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 very simple. It's only two things. What are they?
Find people that want to buy.
You are working with someone who wants to buy and sell real estate. That's one thing. And if you're not doing that, what are you doing? You're finding someone who wants to buy and sell real estate. That's it. And the cool thing, because you guys are on a team, you have all this leverage, thanking Becky and Megan and Hannah and all these people helping you, so you can just focus on those two things. And so what I would just challenge you is if you just had, think about your goal. What activity could you do where it would be completely unreasonable for you not to hit your goal? That's what I want you guys to think about as we go into this advance. Is that fair?
Yes.
Because I want to see you guys crush your goal. And I know that you chose number one, T. So like, yeah, think about it for expireds. Like, if I want to get blank amount of expireds, like, what if I spoke with
1,000 expired. Somebody's gonna tell me to come
Hello?
over and sign paperwork.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, if I spoke with 30 per day, every day, for the next 30 days, is there any way I don't have an expired listing?
No. I'm just waiting for that one seller that Brent always talks about. Like, how fast can you be over here?
Yeah, well,
As fast as the printer will print.
so just so you guys remember, Brent's like, I know people are working expireds because they're taking like 1 or 2 a month. Because if you call enough expireds, like, they're just like, come over and sign it. I'm tired of these calls. And this market especially, guys, there's a lot of expired listings. So, all right, let's move on. Whoop. I had them all there. Thank you, Aaron. Give me some ahas, and then we'll go into gratitude and get out of here. What are some thoughts going through your head around this equalizer being effort? 1 or 2 people. Zoom, you can jump in too if you want.
Just be active enough that failure's pretty unlikely.
Be active enough that failure is pretty unlikely. I would get rid of the words that are the weak ones. Be active enough that failure is impossible. That's what I would want you to say.
Be honest if your efforts sucks.
Yeah,
Be honest about your effort.
focus on what you can control.
What can you control?
Contacts.
Yeah. Yeah, you can control your attempts or your connects or your sets. I mean, honestly, like, this is like the best people I coach, they're in this camp right here. Like, and you can move that way. They're in the sign camp. They're like, okay, I'm getting an agreement signed today, period.
No, I like seeing the visual of it. It's like, okay, well, I'm hitting this and I'm hitting this, but I'm not hitting this. Where do I need to move myself down to?
Yeah. To T's point, she's like, I like the visual of it. If you're thinking like, you know what? I'm getting all the set appointments I'm getting all the connects I need, but I'm not getting enough sets. It's like, well, then you're not getting enough connects, right? Because
Conversion's off, yeah.
yeah, which could be a skill issue, but for that specific point, we're only talking about effort. So, okay, let's get into some gratitude. Who or what are you grateful for? Let's see. We'll go T. Aaron, start us off, and then John.
I am grateful for my family. I'm grateful for all of you. I love our work environment, and I just love the people I'm surrounded by in my life. I couldn't ask for more amazing people. So.
Very nice. Beat that, John.
Okay, I am grateful for my family and that I have so many people around me like the team that are willing to support and add value rather than take, especially doing the team advance, so I'm grateful for that.
Totally. My mind goes towards like everything coming together for the team advance. I'm already like super excited, like we're going today, but it's not. We gotta wait till tomorrow. So I'm super grateful for everybody already. Just saying that, like everyone that's poured in their time, effort, energy, sweat, tears, everything into the event, because I know how amazing they are, and I just know how much work that they take. So I'm pre-thanking everybody because it's gonna be so much fun, and I'm gonna be away from my baby for the first time.
Oh.
Why don't you bring her?
Yeah, so if you see T in the corner crying, like, give her some.
So just last shout out for the advance. Go